Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm Andy. I'm a self-taught programmer, and in this video I'm going to answer the question, is the job market for software development oversaturated? Are there too many people coming out of boot camps, schools with computer science degrees, and just generally people teaching themselves that it's just flooding the market and it's next to impossible to get hired? There's a lot of people who've been asking me this in my YouTube comments as well as on my Facebook group. A lot of chatter just about like, is it worth it? You know, should I even be putting in all this time and effort when there's 8,000 million people trying to get this job? Well, I'm going to cover that in this video, but also, by the way, if you're new here and you're wondering who the heck I am, I'm Andy Sterkowitz. I'm a self-taught programmer, and I mentor and coach people who are looking to get in the field. So people who are trying to cultivate a skill set with this, who really need a strategy for landing that first job. Well, that's what I cover here in this channel. So I highly recommend subscribing below. Also, make sure to hit the bell icon to get notifications anytime I put out a new video. So with all that being said, is the job market oversaturated? Are there too many people trying to get a job? Is it even worth it? Well, first, let's break down the numbers here. The estimates put that there are about 250,000 to 500,000 job openings in the US for software development related positions. So clearly there's demand. There's demand for software developers. And if you think to yourself, well, you know, there's so many people with computer science degrees, so, you know, that number doesn't mean anything. Well, no, not really. There's only, I think, 30 to 50K or 50,000 people coming out of college each year with computer science degrees. So it's not like there's an overwhelming amount of people with CS degrees. And it's not like every one of those people are necessarily getting a job. So look, there is clearly demand. And even if you look at some of the anecdotal evidence from my career and from some of my friends' careers and people that I know, there is a lot of demand for software developers who can produce results. That's the key. At my first company, I remember there was like a 6-month period where we were interviewing like 1 or 2 people every single week because we were trying to find one person who could bring on the team. And in that 6-month period, we would either find someone who we really liked, who we would throw a job offer at, but from their perspective, maybe it wasn't a good culture fit, or maybe they didn't see a lot of growth or potential, and so they would decline. Or we would interview people who we just weren't a good fit, or didn't have enough of a refined skill set, or they just weren't, whatever reason. And so we wouldn't offer them a job. And then, of course, we ended up hiring someone, offering them a job. They worked there for 3 or 4 weeks, and it was very clear that we needed to let them go, which we did. So we ended up spending 6 months of time, effort, money even to hire someone, and nothing came of it. So just resources wasted down the drain, all for somebody who can come in and just help us out a little bit. And my second company, I'm not sure of the exact figures, but I know we spent tens of thousands of dollars in recruiting fees of hiring people who we ended up letting go because it just didn't end up working out. So that was, again, interviews, time, effort, like just so much resources down the drain for somebody who never, ever ended up working out. So, and you hear this over and over again, by the way. You hear that there's just so much demand for somebody who can come to a dev team and really produce value. And that's the thing for a lot of you guys who are in this or looking to get into this field, and you're thinking to yourself like, well, if there's all these job openings, shouldn't I be able to get a job very easily? Or shouldn't people report that this is very easy to get a job? Like, why aren't these matching up? Well, look, programming is hard. Like, programming is very difficult for people who are not coming from an engineering background or with some sort of previous coding experience. So there's a certain threshold that you have to meet before you start being able to produce results or really producing value at a company. And so for people who are out there, it's just the average person who just got into this 3 months ago isn't even close to being able to get to that level yet. And a company is not a nonprofit. Most companies are not nonprofit, I should say, right? They're not like, oh, gee, buddy, you've been doing this for 3 months. Like, oh, we'll get you a job. Yeah, man, that's awesome. You've been working hard. Come on. Like, that's not how it works. Actually, what they're looking for is somebody who can provide as much value or even more value than they're paying them. So let's say they're going to pay you $50K. That's a pretty average starting job for like an entry-level position. If they're going to pay you $50K in salary, they're expecting at least like a 1.5 to 1 ratio return, right? So they want like, I don't know, what is that, like $75,000 in return value. So they need to feel good about hiring you. They don't want to hire you and feel like they have to baby you or walk you through everything, or it's going to take years to cultivate skills. Like, that's not how it works. So they need to see previous experience, or they need to somehow figure out that you can provide them with actual output or productivity or value, whatever word you want to put there, they need to feel good about hiring you. So at the end of the day, really all you can control is what your skills will be, meaning like you can control how much time and effort you're putting into cultivating a really good skill set. And the other part of the equation is you can spend time on really marketing yourself and creating a brand for yourself online through social media, your personal website, your portfolio that exemplifies a person who's energetic, who's enthusiastic, who's passionate, but also most importantly, somebody who has a track record of building projects by yourself. So they can look at your portfolio and say, okay, this guy or girl, they could probably like start to do this without having their hand held. So maybe we can give them a shot. Like at the end of the day, believe it or not, it sounds crazy, but companies aren't hiring robots for software developers. They're not just hiring somebody who's going to sit at a terminal and just be like, do. They're hiring somebody who can bring energy, new ideas, who's creative, who can problem solve in different ways. And so your resume, your portfolio, your GitHub, everything should reflect that. You should give off that sort of vibe. So look, if you are trying to do this and you are just getting frustrated by everything you're seeing, all the people in the field, you're focusing on the wrong things. Don't worry about the girl or guy next to you who's trying to do this as well. There is clearly enough openings for everyone or a majority of people to get into this field right now. The only thing that you need to focus on is what you can control. Stop focusing on things that don't matter, that are outside of your control. So look, I hope this video is encouraging. It's really meant to give you a boost of confidence. I know there's a lot of people in this field and it can kind of seem like there's too much. So highly recommend leaving a like if you enjoyed the video. By the way, if you are serious about being a software developer and you are teaching yourself right now, and let's say you're struggling, you're trying to find a path to go down. Maybe you're bouncing around between different programming languages. Maybe you're stuck in tutorial purgatory, watching tutorials over and over again and not really making progress. Maybe you don't have a portfolio yet. You don't know what projects to build. I highly recommend checking out my mentorship program in that case. My mentorship program is really meant for people who know they're going to do this. They are going to do whatever it takes, and they really just need that guidance moving forward. So if you're interested in that, what you'll want to do is you'll want to book a free career strategy session with me. During that strategy session, what I'm going to cover is I'm going to really figure out what your biggest obstacles are, what's holding you back. I want to figure out where you want to go and what you want to do. And then from there, based on that information, I can figure out whether mentorship's even a good fit and what your specific program would actually look like. So if you want to book that strategy session, go ahead and check out the link in the description below and book that call with me. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching and peace out. Have a good one.